I just feel like this is an issue of men controlling their anger, regardless of what the situation is. Men need to just learn how to control their anger. Um, there is authority in a man's voice alone, and I think he could have went about it in a different way. But I think Miss Pearl said it the best. Social media has influenced a lot of people to do a whole lot of crazy things. And it's unfortunate because he's doing 17 years, but also his family is. So that's all I have to say.
You shouldn't did whatever happened to make DCFS have to come talk to your kid in the first place. Like, yeah.
I
And
agree. I
all he did
think
was interview
you
the
have
kid
to
without
learn how to
permission.
control their. Oh, go ahead.
I was asking the question. All he did was interview the kid without permission.
No, he said when he spoke with his daughter, because I looked at other videos. When he spoke with his daughter, she said she was afraid. She felt uncomfortable. Basically, she was saying things as if the DCFS worker was a creep, basically, and that's how the dad took it. And when the dad was asking the DCFS worker why was he questioning her alone when it's supposed to be a woman if they're under a certain age, he kind of brushed it off, and I guess he got angry. I would too, but I wouldn't do that. But yeah.
Well, as long as somebody else was in there with them, like maybe another
No,
witness,
it
but
wasn't
I don't know
nobody
if
else.
that was the
It was
case.
just the
Okay.
guy and the daughter. It was just the guy and the
Okay.
daughter. That's it.
Okay.
So to the dad, you made my daughter feel unsafe. She's never felt safe with any of her male teachers or any other people that was in the school. So why was she so uncomfortable with you? And I don't understand if that was the case or not, because I heard some other stuff too that when I heard why they was in DCFS, I was like, I don't know if I could even believe the dad,
Why was they in
story.
DCFS?
I can't remember why, so I'm not gonna speak. But it was something that had to do with him and the mom. I remember it was just something that made me second guess what he was saying. But you could look
And
it up.
so that's probably why she's scared to be alone with a man, because she see how her goddamn daddy acting. If that man's gonna go off on her like her daddy goes off on her mother, that's probably what it is.
Well, it's gonna be a
And
lot
that's
of niggas
crazy.
There's gonna be a lot of niggas questioning her by herself for the next 17 years, nigga.
God, Willie, don't do that, man. God damn.
Just saying.
That's crazy. That's some nasty work.
Bro, you did it to yourself, dog. Like,
If that was the
I don't
case,
think
if he would have handled it the right way, he would have had a case on his hands. He would have had a good case on his hands if it went the way that y'all saying. If he would have handled it the right way, he probably would have had a good case on his hands.
What
I
do you
don't
mean
think
when
he
you say good case? What do you mean by that?
That means he would have been able to handle it the legal way. Because if that was the case, and I'm not sure about the full story, but if his daughter was in a room with another male and something happened, if he would have handled it the right way, you don't know how many other children felt that way. You don't know how much he would have saved other situations, and then he could have took him to court instead of doing it, the way
Yeah,
going
this
around
is
the court.
crazy. I hate that that's the stigma that they put on us like that. That's first things first. That's crazy. But I guess what, a woman could be in there with a little boy and they feel like nothing's going to happen. But if a man was in there for a little girl, they just assume the worst. That's sad. That's some sad shit, man.
That's why I said if he would have
Men
handled it the
and
right
women feel
way,
like
it would
that.
have just showed light on the whole situation. You never know how many caseworkers do things that are illegal, but it would have shed light if the man. I didn't mind the man recording. It's his actions with it, because it's power in social media. It's power in social media. I think you should have handled it a different way though.
I do. To Hank's point, I don't necessarily agree. I do think it's a difference between men and women when it comes to like for example, like if I walked into a daycare and I'm dropping my daughter off and everybody who worked there is a man, is like I'm like I don't know, I'm leaving. Versus dropping my son off and everybody worked there as a woman. I don't. Yeah, no, yeah, I'll be back when I get off of work. So I do think it is a difference.
No, but do you see the stigma? What I'm talking about, though, dog? That you even think like that. That's what I'm talking about. That you even think like that. That your mind goes straight left to that situation because of that. That's the sad part. So y'all can't. Let me say this. Y'all can't be mad if there's no male teachers in these schools because they got to deal with a lot of goddamn kids, and more than half of them are going to be girls. And if you try to have a one-on-one conversation with a little girl, guess what that little girl can do to you? Send your ass up the goddamn river by telling a lie. I know y'all don't think little Joanne doesn't lie. I know y'all think all y'all daughters are innocent, sweet, and they don't do nothing wrong. But them little heifers lie too, just like their goddamn mammies lie. And unfortunately, a male teacher would suffer because of it. I hate that.
So
you telling me the stigma on y'all is for no reason?
It's
you
more
feel like it's for no reason. Y'all,
there's
men as a collective is not out there doing anything to make this stigma and make people.
Majority of us are not.
Not just women, because it's not just women that feel like that.
Majority of us are not doing shit like this.
Okay, well that's what.
Yes, I do. Majority of us are not moving and operating like that. Now, if that's the case, if you think majority of us are doing like it, what is that saying about y'all? Because y'all marrying us, y'all fucking us, and y'all giving us goddamn kids.
That crime is y'all. It's not the majority y'all, but when a crime is committed, who is it committed by? That's the problem. It's not the fact that
are we talking about abuse?
When it comes down to his crime, and he's not wrong for thinking like that. His daughter came home and said, "I'm uncomfortable." He made me feel uncomfortable. He asked me these questions. I was with him by myself. It wasn't just the fact that she said he interviewed me by myself. It was everything that came behind it. But for you to be baffled that people will be worried about that when this is something that has been talked about, even the unreported cases. There are so many people that's coming out that have never made reports, and they're on podcasts telling you, I was afraid to say something because this motherfucker was going to call me a liar. It happens, Hank. And if you really want to do something about it, men like you who are not like that need to hold men accountable. Because there's too many men out there trying and thinking they could get away with it. That's ridiculous that you would sit here and make it seem like, oh, it's just because it's not most of us, and just because it's not 70% of us, when it comes down to the crime, even though the crime is committed by mostly men, we're not going to worry about that. What?
Well, we can't say that men are the number one. We can't say men are the number one abusers of children in America because they're not. And we also can't say that the majority the majority of unreported instances also don't belong to women either. So
I'm telling you this because this is something I don't understand why.
I'm citing statistics.
So
you talking about what you think.
When you're in the house and little girls are getting dressed and things of that nature, there's no type of like conduct on the girls. You know what I'm saying? More than the boys, like how boys can walk around with no shirts. Are the girls allowed to run around with no pants and things of this nature?
Are grown men allowed to walk?
Y'all walk around y'all sons like this.
Like, what are we talking
y'all
about?
Walk around you walk around with no bra on in front of your goddamn sons.
There's a reason why there's certain safety precautions against women than men. There's a reason. And y'all don't sit here and act like it's not.
You know what the reason is? Because of the stigma that just like Real Dope was talking about. Because he said if a man was in there with his daughter, he would walk the fuck out. But he could walk in a room and have his sons there and they be okay because of the stigma. They just assume that we all predators. We all move the same. We all think the same. And I'm gonna say it again. How does that make y'all look in? If that's the case, I didn't interrupt you, ma'am. Can I get the same respect? What is that saying about you ladies, you women, you heifers who get there and marry them, who get there and deal with them, fuck on them, get your rent paid by these motherfuckers? What does that say about you? What does that say about you if you know your nasty ass uncle is out there touching girls, but y'all ain't reporting them, y'all not saying nothing, y'all allowing it to happen? You know what y'all say? Just don't go over there. Just stay away from them. No. How about you report his ass to the goddamn law and get him locked up? How about you get him some goddamn help? Y'all ain't doing that. Fucking let him be. Knowing your auntie was doing the same thing to her nephew. Don't go over there. Let her be. We need to stop this shit.
Lock his ass up.
The fact that the majority of abuse that happens to children that's perpetrated by men or men that the mother introduced to that child, I don't feel like that's where your argument falls flat. Besides everything Hank is saying. y'all make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, that men don't. The majority of men are
that's
being
like
punished
sending your
for.
daughter to school and your daughter
Listen,
get
stop
abused
interrupting
by
people
the
when we
teacher,
talking.
and
Like, we
say
don't
it's
interrupt
not the
you.
daughter.
We let you
You
say what
say
you
it's
got
the
to
mother
say.
fault for picking the
So
school.
if
Hold on,
a
one
guy,
mic, y'all. One mic.